Hi, everybody. I'm here with Benedikt Pfeiffer. How are you, Benny?
Good. Hi, Debbie. Good to see you. I'm doing pretty well.
Good, good, good. So we're gonna do an interview, a short interview, and we're just gonna talk a little bit, tell you guys a little bit, or Benny will tell you guys how things are going. So hopefully this will help for everybody when you're making a decision if you want to go to the US or not. Hopefully this interview will help. Hey, so Benny, we have a few questions for you, and I'm going to start. So when did you go back to the US?
So I went back the 1st or 2nd of August. So I started studying here last semester, and I went back home last semester in March, end of March, because that's when things started getting pretty serious. And I was afraid they didn't have any flights, and so then I got back here in August. Once the U.S. government cleared all visa students to come back, and yeah,
Perfect.
I came back to the U.S. and at the beginning of August, and I stayed with my friend for 2 weeks, and then went back to university.
Okay, and tell us quickly which state and university you're in.
Yeah, I'm at Pfeiffer University, and it's in North Carolina.
Okay, and how's the current state situation in North Carolina?
For the state of North Carolina, so I haven't looked much into it, to be honest, but I know that the US government has like different stages of how well a state is handling the situation. And as far as I know, North Carolina is in stage 2 or 3 right now. So the only thing I do know that they started opening fitness centers again.
Okay.
Gyms, they're allowed to open those again.
Yeah.
But as far as I know, like for example, the mask regulations, like do you have to wear one or not? Like the state they require you to, or they want you to, and all the stores make you say they have a sign at the front saying, yeah, you gotta wear a mask. But if you go inside without a mask, they don't say anything.
Okay,
So it's not the same as in Germany.
Okay, it's not quite as strict as in Germany.
Yes, yeah, it's it's strict by the government, but not strict by the store owners, because they don't get fined for it, so they don't really care.
Oh, interesting. And it is very different. Like you kind of touched on that. It's very different from state to state in the US.
Oh,
But
yes, for sure, definitely.
Yeah, very interesting. So a major difference between Germany and the US in that respect. Yeah. Okay, so tell us a little bit about the arrival when you got to the airport, like especially the immigration process.
Yes, so I was like nervous, more nervous than the first time, because I didn't even know if they would let me in at all. But turns out that the immigration the process was really quick, because usually it takes like half an hour because there's a lot of people lining up, but there was barely any people there. So I got there first in line, went to the immigration officer, and he did the basic procedure, like took my fingerprints, looked at my passport, my I-20, my visa, but he didn't ask any questions, so I didn't have any trouble getting in at all.
Interesting. So it wasn't like what you really expected.
It didn't feel different at all. So the only thing that was different, so on the plane they told us we have to wear a mask beforehand the whole flight. I didn't want to, and they didn't tell me to put it back on, so I just couldn't do it. Like 10-hour flight. And then once we got to the airport, they gave us a little sheet from the government saying, recommending us to self-quarantine for the next 2 weeks, to like stay in your hotel, stay wherever you're staying. But they didn't tell us we have to stay somewhere. So that was also not as strict as I would have expected it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So in many aspects, that's good. That's good to know that it's not going to be like a terrible experience. And
no, not at all. It's not as bad as you think.
Yeah, well, so that's very good to know. And obviously, so the visa and the I-20 was easily accepted.
Yes, I didn't have any problems with that. Yeah.
Okay, very good. the next question is, do you notice any major differences in the US to Germany? So we kind of already talked a little bit about it.
Talked about it, yes.
But do you have a little bit, like something else you want to add on?
Well, we've talked about the mask and the social distancing. So what the major difference I have here that the university compared to the rest of the country is that my university is very strict about their rules.
Okay.
So they enforce it. So if you get seen without a mask, first time it's warning, second time it's a, I don't know, $50 or $100 fine.
Mm-hmm.
So, but like this, like I said, the state, if you go in public, they don't regulate it. They say you have to wear a mask and they say you have to social distance, but if you don't do it,
You don't have to.
they don't punish you for it.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And what do you prefer? Like you just said, so the state is kind of easygoing. The school is strict. What do you prefer? What do you feel like in general, what do people prefer?
If I compare to Germany, I feel safe. It feels safer in Germany. I gotta say, because people care. It feels like people care more. Also because our government in Germany is strict about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like here, it's just a lot of people. You see a lot of people in the stores not wearing masks. I usually put mine on, even if no one makes me to. But
yeah,
you see a lot of people that don't really care. So yeah.
So that's a little bit of a negative aspect, but
Yeah.
it sounds like the school is really taking care of you guys and making sure the rules are enforced, which is quite nice. That sounds more like the same situation as in Germany.
Yeah.
In that respect. Okay. And as far as quarantine goes, how is that organized?
So you're talking about me right now?
Well, right now you can tell everybody what's happening.
Yes. So yeah, so my university, it's pretty small, but we've had one case a few weeks back, and they ended up closing the whole building where he was living in. They ended up closing that one down for 2 weeks. So people in there were in quarantine for 2 weeks, and the same thing happened to me now. So I mean, I didn't get tested, and I'm sure I don't have it. But there was one guy in my hall who got tested positive, and so I'm on quarantine now for the next 2 weeks.
I think that's very positive. It sounds like they're on top of things, and
Yeah,
they're making
the
sure
university
everybody.
definitely is. Yeah, they're making sure that everyone's staying safe.
Yeah, that's very good. And so in that respect, like how is it organized? So you have to stay in your room. You have to do schooling from your room.
Yes. So the good thing is, since it's the entire hall, I can go out of my room and use because I don't have my own bathroom. So we have shared bathrooms, so we can go into each other's rooms. We just can't go outside.
Okay, so you're kind of like
stay inside. Yeah.
Yeah, your own little bubble in the hall.
Yes, exactly. And they bring us food every meal, so 3 times a day. So yeah.
Well, that's nice. That's perfect.
Yeah, it's not like we started on last Friday, so I'm like halfway through now. It's only thing I'm missing out that I can't play sports. That's the only thing that I'm missing out.
Right, you're not allowed to go to practice. And that was actually my next question. Yes. How is practice going and any major differences? So you were practicing before you got quarantined, right?
Yes.
Okay,
so
tell us a little bit.
Situation for me, so we have a kind of bad situation right now because our former coach, he quit back at the end of last semester. So as of right now, we don't have a tennis coach. And the athletic department is still looking for a new coach. But so we our captain and the whole team, we've done practices on our own without a coach, and we've been going out every day for at least 2 hours just by ourselves without the coach. And but it's not the same. It's better if we had a coach, because at the beginning we did a lot of drills, did a lot of exercises, but now we end up just playing points because we're all kind of sick of not having a coach.
That totally understandable. Now, usually the university is really good at replacing coaches and putting an assistant coach in place. So is that not what happened for you guys?
No, because we didn't have an assistant coach. That's the problem. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Didn't have one.
Okay. So I assume that's very unusual, and I assume that might
Yeah.
have to do something with the current pandemic as well. Maybe it's a little bit more difficult for the university to
I
replace the
think that's
coach
it's
quickly.
hard to find people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So all in all, like practice was positive. When you had a coach right now, there's not
Yeah.
many differences I understand in respect of like COVID, with like how careful you have to be because you're practicing on your own.
Yeah.
Oh,
So regarding COVID for practice, the athletic department, they send out an email to the whole team saying we can practice, we can play points and everything, but we can't play doubles. That's what they
okay.
told us. So at first we stuck to it, we didn't play doubles, but since no one, like the courts are really far away from the athletic department, so they couldn't even see us, so we ended up playing doubles anyways.
Okay. Okay. So
That's pretty much the only regulation we had for our practices.
yeah. So not too many restrictions.
No.
Okay. And in general, do you have other international students on your
Yes.
team? Okay. And
Not on, so on my team, there's two guys on my team that are also international.
okay, and they're all there as well, or were they able to come back?
No, they're actually not here. So one of them, he actually quit because he couldn't afford it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he quit college, and the other guy, he's technically still going here, but he lives in Miami,
Okay.
and he does all the school work from home, and he comes here every like once or twice a month to hit with
Okay.
us.
So a bit of a special
But
situation.
yeah.
Yeah. So in
Oh, you mean,
general, go ahead, Benny.
no, you mean for him a special situation?
Yeah, well,
Or-
that's a bit unusual. Usually people don't do it that way where they come 2 or 3 times a year. Like they're
Yeah,
at
yeah,
their
but I mean that's all because of COVID, because of the
yeah.
online classes. Yeah.
Yeah. But in general, do you have quite a few international students that return to the school, or do you feel like a lot of people stayed back?
So I have one friend of mine. He's also from Germany, and he plays on a golf team.
Okay.
And before I came here, I was in contact with him about, like, we were talking about whether we should go, how we could, if we even can go before we even knew. But he ended up coming back too, like 2 weeks after I did.
Okay.
And yeah.
And you're happy about your decision to come back?
Yes, I am. I'm definitely happy to be back here. I mean, I like the way, like, I have my own room now. I had a roommate last semester, now I don't. I have my own room. It's basically like living on your own. And yeah, it was also really good to see all my friends here again.
Yeah. That's yeah. So lots of positives came out of it as well
Yeah,
as some negatives. You have to adjust to certain situations. Some
yeah,
situations change. I think I would say it's safe to say that's for everybody the same, for every student, that in this moment you have to adjust to certain situations. Not
yeah.
everything is going to be perfect, but all in all, like I can say it was a great decision for you to go back, and you're feeling you feel good about your decision.
Yeah, I definitely do. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
happy to be back here.
That's perfect. Okay, so last question, last statement maybe on your part. Is there something you would like to tell people who are still undecided at home in Germany or in Europe in general, whether they should go to the US, especially in the spring of 2021? Is there any advice you can give them? Something you would like to say?
So you mean, so for people that want to start their college career, like going in as a freshman in spring 2021?
Exactly, exactly. So right now, imagine you're at home, you're in Germany, and
Yeah.
you look at the situation in the US, and you're kind of thinking, oh, should I go? Should I not go? What do you think? Like, do you have any advice for them?
Well, it depends on, I would say it depends on how you see the whole situation, how serious you see the situation, and also how it affects you.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wasn't too scared to come back here because I wasn't, like, concerned about any health issues or anything.
Right.
But and also I don't mind living by myself. I can go away from home. I've been away from home for multiple times by myself. So if you feel comfortable, being on your own, living on your own, and also like going into a whole new environment. Like it was hard for me even without the COVID. So if you can't do it without COVID, then you probably shouldn't do it with COVID now if you can't handle that.
Right. What that is one thing that we all had to go through. Like you
Yeah.
go away, you probably deal a little bit with homesickness and being away from home, being in a new environment. But that is also very exciting. That's when you learn
Yeah.
the most. That's when
Yes, for
you
sure. Yeah.
grow.
Yes.
Yeah, and you learn a new culture and all that. That is very like that's as hard as it is at times, as exciting it can be on the
Yes.
other side. So, but in terms of like traveling, getting to the US and the safety at the university in general, you had a good experience and as you said, it was a good decision.
I know my university, they're very good at taking care of it, very
Yeah.
good at making rules for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've also heard from I have friends at other universities, and they've been telling me similar regulations and rules, and also the university is also enforcing it. So
Perfect.
I think universities right now here in the United States are the safest place to be.
Yeah, that's an interesting statement. And
Yeah.
that's also interesting. We encourage people to talk to their to coaches and to the administration at the school before they go over to the US. So these are questions they should maybe ask the coach as well, not just about tennis, but what are the regulations at the university when we come over? Are we going to be safe and so forth? And if all those answers are or all those questions are answered in a positive way, then I think we both would agree that it's a safe place to go and a good decision to go in the spring of 2021.
Definitely, yeah.
Good. Well, that was very interesting and super good to hear from you and like how you're doing and how your experience is. Thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So thank you and yeah, stay safe and we'll talk to you soon
Thank
again.
you. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Bye, Benny.
Okay. Bye.